Hey guys, welcome back to Style Reviews. We're taking a look at Iron Factory's IFEX42 Heat Death. This is an homage to Transformers Transmetals 2 Megatron. So, alright, this one, it's a legend scale, but a larger size legend. So they're about 4-inch scale. From this angle, he's about 4 3/4 inches tall to the tip of this thing on top of his head. So a couple of comparisons. Here's Jetfire, which he's almost as tall as. Well, no, he's not. Jetfire's a big boy. And Jetfire's about 6 inches tall. So it's like, by ruler, no, he's about... Alright, so 4 3/4 to 5 1/4. So that's about half an inch right there. And it's crazy because that's, if you were two human beings, not that big of a height difference. But when it comes to toys that are these small especially, man, it makes quite a difference, as you can see. So, while I'm knocking everything around, I think that was Bolt Runner. Either Blaze Dash or Bolt Runner. Not sure. But here's Heat Death. And the wings are clear, but they're faded. Like, it's all clear all the way through, but they've got that dark fade going, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Tip of the tail as well. Let's see if there's any... No fading on that. Clear orange. It honestly looks magnificent. So, before I even start breaking this down, we'll get these wings extended so you can see, just for display purposes, about the max of what it can take out. These two pieces are individually articulated. So, let's do this. This is about 11 3/4 inches, so almost a foot wide when you've got the wings all the way extended. That's pretty darn cool if you ask me. So when it comes to the wings while he's standing up, you've got some in and out movement there. This piece itself can go up and down. There's a hinge here for this to go up and down. Don't really know why you use that. You don't want his wings at his waist. But then those two. Alright, so let's take a look at the articulation. There's upward, and then there is downward, but the down point really makes him look straightforward, so can't really call it that. It can go 360. It's basically just on a ball joint. Nothing blocking it. Now the shoulders, you gotta watch out because there are these feet here, there are the wings back there. Alright, but you can still do a full 360. This moves independent of the shoulder armor. All the way out. Bicep swivel, both arms have that. And then the elbow. That one only goes 90, but the other arm, because of the transformation, has a double elbow, can go all the way up. Alright, so the wrist, they peg in and out. They peg in pretty tight, but I think there's like a stop point or somewhere that has more friction than other, because when you're pulling these things out, all of a sudden it like goes from kind of hard to pull out to just zooming out. So watch for that. You saw it just fly out of my hands. But basically, since it's a peg, not a ball or anything like that, there's no rocking, it's just straight, you know. Alright. Now there is added articulation in the forearm of this arm because it, as you can see, it has the dragon head there. So this, and this moves too, it's just really tight. Moves independently of mouth. It's hard to... Alright, so we can get a little bit of that kind of action in. And it also extends over the arm, you know, because of the transformation. So getting that back. Getting everything rotated to the right spot. Now the waist, 360 movement at the waist, the swivel, no ab crunch. Now, I had been asked about these. These move out of the way. All right, and you can move them to the side, to the back, but they're meant to be in the back. Move that back. Then you can swing the hip up until the hip meets that crotch plate. And then these parts don't move, that front and all the way out. All right, knees are double jointed. They can go all the way back. Front of the feet can move up and down a little bit. And the ankle tilt, not really as great as I'd like. Alright. Dogs apparently don't like it either, if you guys heard that. Alright, so quick pose. Boom, there we go. Alright, before I get this guy transformed, I almost forgot to show his accessories. Nothing too crazy. He just comes with a couple of additional hands. Completely open hands, and then ones that have a 5mm port. So, and before I get into this, I guess that brings up another point I just thought about. When I first played through and transformed this guy on my own time, this thing has a lack of 5mm female ports on it, so no attaching it to a stand or anything like that, which is highly disappointed. If any figure needed to assist one between just the size, the big wingspan and stuff like that, and not being able to put them into flight poses and stuff like that with the stands, that's a disappointment. I'm really surprised that was omitted from this. Even if it was something like just the bottom right here or behind, nowhere on here is there a 5mm female port. I don't understand the decision making behind that, but it's really unfortunate, to say the least. But getting this guy transformed, I'm going to go ahead and I will go through the instructions as accurately as possible. I can get this guy transformed, of course, but the big thing is there are parts of the instructions on here that are confusing as heck. It feels like it literally will go from, it'll show like the end point, and then you get it to the end point, like of where you want that part to be, what it's supposed to look like, and then the instructions like backtrack and tell you, okay, now here are the steps to have done that, and you're already past it. Like, what the heck? So they kind of, in my opinion, go all over the place, but you guys might find it a lot more cohesive, and if so, good. I don't want anybody else to be confused about it either. Alright, so we start by just taking this left fist, one with the dragon, turn it around so that we can take the dragon and do like that. Easy, right? And then we take, and I'm making sure I'm doing this at the right point, the whole arm here, and do that. Alright, so this is where it should be. This should be turned around. And then from there, we take these wings. We just bring them down at the hinge. They're easy to recognize the hinge you want to bring them down at because there's a screw there. Alright, and for the sake of space, we're going to bring the wings out right now. They can be down, whatever you want. You'll adjust that at the end. From there, just going back to the back of the figure. Taking these pieces, moving them out. Alright, and with those, just bring the wings under. Alright? Now that those wings are kind of around and under, you can take these arms, and this is pretty tight, this bicep swivel for the dragon arms. So I like to press on the shoulder there, this black piece, to make sure that they rotate around correctly. Because that's what you want. You want that on both sides, but again, that swivel is tight, at least for mine. Alright, so see, walking like an Egyptian. Alright. From there, you go back to the front, turn the head around, The head's on a hinge that pegs in right there. Take that up like so. Alright. And that's what you should have. Now rotate it back to the figure. Get these wings out of the way. This whole thing is on a long hinge. Right here. Whole thing down. Alright. Now we bring it back to the front. We're going to focus on the body here. Alright. So this, right here, this whole thing comes up. The torso. Alright. So flip that up. From there, not at the bicep, but at the next point, below the screw, you turn it like so. Alright? So that this faces outward. Mouth open, mouth closed. None of that part matters right now, okay? On this side, take this fist, like that. But I might have the fist wrong. I'm not sure. Nope. Actually, it still faces outward. Or inward. Alright, so there. Alright, so now we have it flipped all the way up. And basically, these shoulder pieces are on hinges, so bring them down so you can swing them around. And then from there, swing the whole thing, okay? Alright, let me see if I remember how to do this correctly. Yeah. Alright, so you take this whole thing like so, right? Then you take this. This is a hinge joint as well. Bring it up. The arm, you're basically going to bring it in. Oh, you got to flip this piece down from the forearm. Bring that in so it just kind of fits underneath there, right? So let me make sure I'm doing this correctly. And then this piece right here has something that fits inside of here. And the reason I'm kind of roundabout right here is because basically this is where the instructions get kind of iffy. I guess that would be the best way to put it. Alright. So I'm just flipping to the end and making sure that I've got this right. And I'm going to give myself a pat on the back here because it looks like I do. And that's what it should look like in the end. Okay, and believe it or not, we're almost done. Again, this is what you should have on the side. And with each of the legs, right? So there's a hinge right there at the calf. So bring the calf in. And bring the calf in. Now, you can also widen a stance by bringing the hips out, like so. And then there's another hinge right there. Boom. So on the other side, make sure I can see. Bring the hip out. And then right there, there's a hinge. Bring it in. So any bird, if you think about it like Final Fantasy, kind of like a chocobo or whatever, that kind of deal. Alright, so this is home stretch right here. These pieces here, those back hip skirts that nobody's a fan of aesthetically, you just bring it around. And then this part goes up and around. Alright, so you can see what you're supposed to have here. Now I'm going to hold this here while I do the other side. It's not too hard, but bring it around the hip. And then that piece just like rotates up and around. So then squeeze the two halves together. From there, you can take these halves with the arms, bring them around, and there's a peg right here that you peg into the sides of the chest. So do that on each side. And I will say, while I was transforming this personally, and I lost alignment right there, that fist being in with this being pegged in, I was wondering why more things didn't tab in while I was transforming it, and then you get to this part and it's like, oh, okay, it all starts to come together. So there we go. Making sure everything's pegged in correctly. Alright. And that other side, I had to bring it offline to bring it in closer and get that tapped in. But basically from there, just making sure the feet touch and whatnot. These wings, rotating them up at that screw and then back. Tail, you could have it up, down, whatever you want to do. Yeah, I found getting all four to touch the ground evenly isn't as easy for me as it should be, or it feels like. But yeah, you can tidy it up, pretty it up. You gotta transform. Alright, and we got a dragon mode here. I'm not too familiar with this iteration. I thought that, personally, this needs to go down. I don't know why that got flipped up. I don't know why this is on all fours. It reminds me more of Predaking. Was it Transformers Prime Beast Hunters? Was that the show? Than what I remember Megatron, because I thought he was on his back 2 feet with smaller front, but regardless, it's a good alt mode. I could be wrong. Like I said, not too crazy familiar. Now, in terms of articulation, arms and legs move. There's some shoulder swing there, of course. Biceps. Got those elbows and the feet, which have some tilt to them too. Alright, the back legs, same as before, but they're in a different configuration now. So, knee swing and then limited ankle tilt, but same ankle tilt as he had in bot mode. Alright, the fronts of the feet can go in and out. Now the wings, let's see if I can zoom this out some. The wings, pretty good wingspan. Now, this is a hinge right here. Another hinge. And that's about as far outward as it can go. These two separate wing pieces, though, they can go up and down individually. Okay. And then, of course, in and out. I already discussed that. So, looks best up there to me. If you have them back, it's just a lot of clear space. And I'll do the other one too, so no optical illusion. The head. Alright, so it actually has movement at the collarbone there. It's the robot mode shoulder. And then, in terms of this, That's the normal bicep swivel. And then this can go up and down, that elbow joint, and as well as the head. I wish that, let me zoom in here, that area with the fist, it's not horrible looking because the fist is black and you can't really see the digits in there, but I wish that this was a little bit more flush, something was in there to fill in the red, you know, like that kind of deal, but it's what it is. You can clearly see that from an engineering perspective, they're doing the best they can with what they got. So the head itself, went over that, the head itself, up and down, and then that is on a ball joint there. So swing it as far as you can until it starts to hit the horns. Now the mouth does open. It does have this piece inside. It does swing on its own, but it's really tight for me. So, especially the first time, it was a bit of an SOB to get in there, but alright. Let's see if we can do something half cool here. It's been a while since I've had a beast former, animal former, anything like that. Pretty much, would it have been the PE Perfect Effect gorilla piece, or I'm not sure, but it has been a while. I actually like that angle there. Alright, cool, and we'll go ahead and end this here. I mean, it's a solid piece. It's very large in size. The articulation's there pretty much besides ab crunch. It's done everything that all of these figures have done up until this point. The transformation's definitely the most complex to date, but still not hard by any means. And I mean, it's a good looking figure. Really love the wings, the wingspan and things like that. It's cool. It's nice to have a legend figure that isn't huge like the combiners and stuff like that, but still has that imposing shelf presence and stuff. But anyway, this has been another Kumastyle review. Just stay tuned for the article and gallery on kumastyle.com, and as always, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for your support. See you next time.